What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and it's time to take you through another random game that I played the other day and talk about, some Susanoo shenanigans. So, this is a god that I think a lot of people are having fun trying to figure out how to play. There's a lot of really, really strong ways to play this god, but some of them feel, I don't know, maybe a little bit too rigid, a little bit too reliant on certain interactions inside of the god. And I wanted to show you a strategy that is maybe a little bit out of the box. Anyways, basically the idea here is there is a god path that just has not been really used. And I don't think it's because it's weak necessarily. I just think it's a situational, very, very strong, in fact, way to play. And that god path is Minakatatomi and Fujin. So, of course, everyone is going to be aware of Susanoo doing things like going for Inari Okami, spamming Swampland, then going through Raijin, and then using that lightning, what's it called? Thunderdome, Thunderburst, God Power with the Swampland, whole bunch of Kusanagi. I wanted to show that you don't have to play a sort of, I don't know, maybe it's just my own like bias or whatever. But you don't have to play like an unfair type of strategy to have success with this god. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I always think like if I'm playing like a God's power spamming strategy, I always feel like it's kind of a little bit unfair. I don't know why. I don't think it's necessarily like an issue or anything. I just like, I have in the back of my mind, I want to build myth units. I want to get myself unique techs. I want to build castles. I don't want to spam god powers. So I'm going to show you a bit of a myth unit orientated idea here. So first and foremost, why Minakatatomi? Well, first reason is Shrine of the Hunt gives me some extra favor. That's a big reason. I want to get a huge amount of favor in as Susanoo without like risking everything and making this an incredibly all-in strat. So first and foremost, why did I should probably finish up with the next part, but I'll get into that after. But why do I say this situational? Well, take a look at this town center here. I've got myself an amazing town center. This is absolutely amazing. I've got gold mines. I've got hunts here, here, and here. I can't see this hunt. Well, I can see this hunt. There's a hunt pack here. There's a hunt pack here. There's a hunt pack here. There's a gold mine here, gold mine here, gold mine here. And a beautiful defensive layout with these cliffs here on this snake dance map. So yeah, this is an absolutely amazing map for a far second town center. So then I'm like, okay, why Minakatatomi? Well, first and foremost, I can drop the shrine over here. I can defend my town center with those wolves. Defend my villages that are around here pretty easily without needing to build all too much stuff. And we're good to go, right? The other part about Minakatatomi, and I will be completely upfront, this one Yudo, this guy, I don't see a use for at the moment. I've tried. I don't think it's something that's any good. Just straight up. There's better things to spend your favor on. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. And I probably am, and maybe he's really good, but I can't figure it out. But what is good with Minakatatomi is this technology, three technologies inside of this one, but we're going to be focusing on one specific technology called saltwater spring. As you can see here, the Japanese villagers gather at 1 food per second, and then if I can get that saltwater spring technology, they'll go up to 1.1 food per second, which is obviously quite fast. Which then leads me into, like, why is this important? Well, for Susanoo, the bottleneck in creating myth units is actually not favor. Generally, that's the bottleneck for myth unit creation. But with Susanoo, it's not favor because you get the 50 favor stipend, then you get the 70 favor stipend, then you get the 100 favor stipend as you're fighting throughout the game. The problem is actually generally the resource attached to said myth unit. Now, of course, there are 2 myth units I could potentially get in the heroic age, as I'm not going to be building 1 Yudo. That is either going to be the Reiju, which is obviously really good, costing gold. Saltwater Spring doesn't help with that. But the Oni costs food, of which the boosted food income that's going to come through is going to be a huge help. on top of that, I need to be thinking about how am I going to deal with heroes? Because that's the thing that's going to be able to kill my Oni, right? Well, the best unit to build to take out heroes is going to, or Greek heroes in this situation, is going to be high base DPS units. And I go, well, there's 2 units I could go for. One is the Horse Archer, which I don't think is a great idea against Hades. I don't think it's a great idea against Greek in general because of the Peltast. But it is a very, very good unit to take out heroes. And the other unit is the Samurai, of which I think is an amazing unit to build versus Greek. Makes them not be able to build infantry. You can build Hypaspis, but if I'm building Oni, that's an amazing counter to the Hypaspis in of itself, so I don't have to worry about it. You can't really... You can build Toxotes to take them out, but again, I've got Oni to charge through and make life difficult. And those heroes will take that special ability and get chopped down very, very quickly. So you can see that I'm now in the second age. I got my talent center up. I scouted out what he's doing. I saw him going for a talent center, and I'm good to go. If he did go for an aggressive play here, I'd say 1 talent center, I would have to stay in the classical age, which is totally fine. I've got all of the Kusanagi in the world to make my Shrine of the Hunt cheaper. If I have to abandon this talent center and this shrine here, I don't want to, but I can do it. I'll pull back into my main base. After dropping a bunch of Kusanagi, I'll be able to drop another Shrine of the Hunt in my main base, which gives me more hunt, so I can play from an economic advantage, get to the heroic age, make my Oni. But that's not what's happening here. So I pre-queue myself Crushing Waves. There's a whole bunch of technologies I need to get here from this temple. You'll see how much you need. So this is Crushing Waves to give divine damage and speed to my Oni. I'll get that straight away. There's not really any problem with that. It also makes my one Yudo do a whole 0.6 divine damage per second, which is not nothing, mind you. It's not nothing. So yeah, basically any small amount of damage here that my one Yudo can do is great, but you can see he's trying to chase it down because he knows that I'm getting some passive... Wait, can I see this? I'm getting some passive Bushido in. So we just need to make sure this one stays alive. He almost takes it out. In fact, I think if he chased it a little bit further, he probably would have. If he did kill that one off, it would have been a little bit upsetting for me. He grabs this relic from underneath my clutches. I don't really mind. I don't need relics here. This is not what I'm about here in this one. But I'm just trying now to get to the next age. And part of this Shrine of the Hunt that's so good is I've got this perfect defensive position, and I can eat these deers. I don't particularly want to eat the deers because it does mean that my Miko gets slowed down a bit, because obviously the shrine plus the deers spawning in is really nice. But, you know, it's fine. And then I can just start building up defensive buildings around here. So he is trying to put pressure on. It makes a lot of sense what he's doing. Just like you go second talents and you see all of this hunt here. It is sort of out in the open, so that's nice for him. He's coming through to kill my one Yudo again. I'll bait him in and heal up my wheeled man without a body. Head without a body man with a wheel. Anyways, so we're going to start working towards our samurai and Raijin, no, Oni. Our samurai and Oni thing. So this is the basic idea, and you can see I've already got myself 95 favor, and I've bought myself a technology already. So this is a crazy amount, of resources or favor to be using to be having at this point in the game. Of course, I've got 3 Miko out, which obviously I probably should have around this much favor. You could argue that it may be a little bit too much for how much I've invested, but nonetheless, this is how much I've got. So if I don't get any technologies in, I think I can get myself 5 Oni right off the bat. Now, the technologies are what makes this strategy strong, and there are 2 technologies that come through with Fujin that you need. You need the Deadly Rage, and you need the Oni Mask. So I'm going to be going for both of those right away. My opponent here is going to be going for Apollo as well. But yeah, straight for Fujin. Straight for these technologies as my Oni pop out. And you can see, I mean, he looks kind of a little bit underwhelming here. Like 1100 HP, 40% hack armor, 50% pierce armor. He's doing like 20 damage or 16 hack damage per second. He does have a little bit of divine damage from that Crushing Waves, 3.9 speed, kind of slow. So yeah, he's a little bit underwhelming. But when I get Deadly Rage, now I get an extra 30% damage. And most importantly, I get a huge amount of vulnerability reduction to hack, which is really, really good. And then on top of that, the Oni Mask is going to give me 25% hit points. And the most important part about this Oni Mask for this specific strategy is the myth unit train time reduction. Now, I could just drop a second temple, and I might do that later, especially with the stipend coming in of 50 favor. But at the moment, I don't really have the income to support that many Oni. So I just want to get this tech, make this Oni as strong as it possibly can be, and then get all these samurai out. And I'm just building up what I like to call a deathball comp. So what is a deathball comp? There's so many of these in Age of Mythology. Basically, a deathball is something that is incredibly hard for your opponent to kill. And if you can just sit back and build this comp, then you just have to make sure that you walk forward and you take a good fight, like in the right position, not underneath too many enemy buildings and things like that. And you will inevitably have success. So yeah, we are continuing to build these all out. You can see that at the moment my opponent's incredibly competitive with me. He's spending his resources. He's got a lot of food in the bank, but so he could probably have himself a couple hundred more resources. I got a little bit of gold in the bank, so we're basically in a similar position in terms of macro. I haven't attacked him one iota here. I have not done anything to him, which is really the point. So I mean, I'll be honest here. My opponent here he's a pretty strong player. He's about 1650 to 1750, and he's probably about rank 100 to rank 150 or something like that. He's been above 100 a couple of times, but yeah, he's a pretty strong player. He's got good macro, and generally when you're playing against players of this caliber and I don't attack them, they can generally function. They can get out a pretty good army, and you can limit test some things against these players. Of course, if I'm playing against a much stronger player, I'll probably get pressured a lot more. But realistically, there's not a whole lot of places here for my life to be sad. And he goes for his Underworld here as our first little forced fight to come through. I could utilize the Smiting Gust here and send this army flying to kill off the Underworld, and we'll be totally fine. But I don't want to do that. Let's just take the fight. So I've got myself at the moment 5 Oni, and I'm still building more. I got a huge amount of Samurai here as well. And we're ready to take a fight. And he uses the Restoration. We're just going to drop our Tsunagi in so I don't lose my Talent Center. And yeah, my army is, as you can see, incredibly strong. He's got 3 heroes out. None of my Oni are dying. And the entirety of his army is going to get demolished. And I am already up to Bushido tier 3 after that one fight. One fight! I went from no upgrades to medium to heavy in one fight. So yeah, the Samurai here pulled their weight. These things get Bushido in. I would argue this is one of the most insane parts. I did lose my Talent Center, but I'll just rebuild that one straight away. This is one of the most insane parts about the Oni. About the Samurai is for Egyptian. I can't speak. For Japanese, is the ability to get that Bushido in. They gather it. They gather it pretty quick, so it's getting like the auto favor gather rate of 0.5, and they get extra favor gather rate, Bushido gather rate, and then they also get extra Bushido in when they actually fight compared to just the regular Japanese units. So yeah, this unit is such a huge help here, and you can see I can just keep getting these Oni out. So now we're up to 9 Oni. Here. A couple of these are starting to get low HP. He's got a pretty strong army over here. I'm unfortunately not paying attention. This is not ideal. I just walked straight through. Yeah, so not the best fight for me, but we can turn at the end of this one. And you can see his heroes here. They're right on top of my Oni. And yeah, my Oni aren't really dying. Like, I've lost one very, very slowly. In fact, I think I lost the majority of my Samurai there before even losing I lost 1 Oni to the 3 heroes. So yeah, this is incredibly strong. We pop up here trying to take out the fortress for the time being. I want to attack this and kill off this position if I can. This is probably the most weak thing here for my opponent to have. I'm 130 pop, he's 123 pop. Gonna keep on building the Oni out as this number of units is gonna keep coming up, and yeah, we can pick off some villages. I mean, look at the damage they do when they get to that special. Which does now, I guess, bring me to the next point here for the Oni. And why Susanoo and not, say, Tsukiyomi? And as part of that is also the unique bonus for Susanoo, which is the reduction of a special ability, train time or whatever. So it's just 20 seconds, right? Generally, normal. And then with Susanoo, it takes up 25% of that. So you go down by 5 seconds, and it lasts for 10 seconds. So effectively, you are constantly enraged because the actual... Yeah, you're basically constantly enraged. You have 5 seconds of downtime with that enraged form. Of course, it does lower the armor, the effective HP of your unit, but it's just doing so much more damage that it's huge. As you can see this Oni mask here doing work. These guys train really, really quickly. I do kind of wish I had a second temple, but I've already got through all my favor at the moment, and I'm basically now looking for a fight. I'm considering limit testing here and charging in and seeing if I can win underneath all of this, but at this point I go, well, maybe not. Let's go somewhere else. He is over here trying to steal my food, so we come through. I use my Spiting Gust here. Idea is maybe I can come in and just kill him, but this was a less than ideal way to play. I'm going to move up here and attack this town center. This is the weakest place to attack now. This main base is very defensive. Watchtower, sentinels, etc. I do lose a couple of villagers in this fight, but end up winning over there, as we can wander up here and move around and take out his town center is our plan. We've got more samurai coming out. I mean, I'm not even... The thing about this that's sort of kind of wild is I feel like anyone can do this strat. Of course, like a far second town center and pressure and dealing with pressure is like the tricky part. I'm not sure if this works without the far second town center. Maybe if you just rush straight to the heroic gauge up of one town center, put the Shrine of the Hunt in your main base, and then start making Oni Samurai off of one town center. I'm not sure if that is as strong as what I did here. And then, of course, if your opponent does some like hyper aggression against your second town center, you have to be somewhat aware of that. Anyways, we take the town center down, and we got a big fight here. You can see I got 7k military resource value. My Oni can start going to town on all of his units here. And yeah, he's got a full army here of Greek units versus my full army of these units. If we take a quick look at his armory upgrades, he doesn't have any of those. I don't have any really. I think I got copper weapons. But my Oni just don't die. These guys are just absolute tanks of units. Of course, I need to make sure I'm taking the right fights, but my Oni numbers are just building up. And soon I'm going to have myself... I still got 67 favor in the bank. This favor is coming in so quickly. I got 3 Miko. I could have built more Miko here as well. Probably should have. But yeah, I can keep on building these units, get myself more town centers. As now, the next part here is, all right, what do we do next? Well, I pushed off of this gold mine. The other gold mines are on the bottom, so I probably should be over here checking out these positions and things like that. Yeah. Anyways, now we get ourselves we have champion in now. Yeah, so we got champion in. So I got 3 Oni through, plus I got the 26 favor in the bank. So this is an extra 60 favor in the bank there. But I'm going to wander around and deal with this gold mine. And I'm still like questioning myself. I go, okay, if I was playing Hades here, what would I probably do? I think the thing that makes the most sense is attempting to get to the Mythic Age as quickly as possible so you can have access to the 4 heroes. If you get Perseus out, maybe this is going to be a little bit more... You can deal with this a little bit better. There's also another tech for Hades, if we take a quick look at it, here through Artemis, which is Beast Slayer, which gives extra bonus damage versus myth units. Or you could go for Olympian Weapons, which makes your Gastrofitoris do some bonus damage versus myth units. So those... something like that might make some sense. I don't really know. I haven't tried it out, but could be a way to go. Nonetheless, I don't know how Greek deals with this many myth units. I do wonder what this feels like when I'm playing against, say, Egyptian or against Atlantean. You have to remember that, you know, I got Samurai as well, so it's not like this is that weak. Anyways, now we're gonna go for a fun play. I see his army moving over here, and I go, all right, bit of a smiting gust into his main base, as now I can kill everything in his main base. I thought I overshot it by a long way, but actually it was a perfect smiting gust. Kill off his town center, and I can start killing off everything. He has to make his way back over here to deal with all my stuff. And yeah, that was a fun way to go about it. Wait for him to move his army out, Smiting Gust in, and just clean everything up. We can also Kusanagi the army away. He drops another restoration, but that's just not going to really... That's not really going to be able to do a whole lot. I do wonder if maybe he made a whole bunch of Manticore here as well, if that would have made a difference. His Manticore do have some bonus versus myth units. But... It's a fun strategy. I wanted to share it with you guys. I do think this is incredibly strong as well. If you can get to this thing, and that's a big if. Specifically versus Greek, I think Greek players are going to struggle a lot versus this because it doesn't really make sense, right? Like, what's the Susanoo player doing? They're not attacking you. I'm playing Greek. I got the why don't I just sit back and boom? I'm playing. Like, that's what I want to do versus Japan anyway. It's like going and attacking the Japanese player early on. You know, that's dangerous. That plays into Bushido. That's not what you want to do. So sitting back and booming here is generally the right. It makes sense, right? Like a logical sense against Japan. So yeah, if you get this matchup, go for this strat. If you play versus, say, Egyptian, I imagine this would be probably pretty good versus Egyptian as well. Reason being, the Oni doesn't lose anything when it uses its special ability. It only gains stuff because all of those priests are doing divine damage, and they do have some very, very high HP count. 1375 means the divine damage is less effective versus the Oni. So I think trying this versus Egyptian makes sense as well. Also, the Shrine of the Hunt on the second town center does mean it's probably impossible for them to deny that. You might have to get yourself like watchtowers if they're going to go one town center all in or something like that while you're trying to get to the heroic age. You might have to go for samurai in the classical age to defend yourself a little bit, but realistically, I think you should be okay. If you play versus Norse, same sort of deal. What are they going to build? Hersa, samurai beat Hersa. They can build throw and axeman and kite and things like that. They can build Godi and kite, and it might be worthwhile to get some horse archers out in that sort of a situation. Samurai, horse archer, Oni. If you play versus Atlantean, probably don't recommend doing this versus Atlantean because Atlantean can actually just go, oh, you're just sitting back making Oni? No worries. I'll sit back and make a full heroized army through Hyperion, get myself self-heroic renewal, and these Oni will not find value in that situation. But, you know, you could try it and maybe they won't notice. You could hide the Oni, like just build them into your temple as well, and just spamming out samurai, hide the Oni in your temple, pop them out once you have like 8, use your Smiting Gust into their main base and just kill everything. Maybe. And versus China... China can make a lot of heroes. They have Sage, they have Jiangxia, which is probably the biggest counter to like mass myth units because it's going to lower all the damage there. But I think it might work versus China. Especially like horse archers sniping pioneers and things like that. Horse archer samurai type comps. And then Japan. Yeah, Japan can also do things like Mass Tengu, which I think would beat this, or probably Mass Raiju as well is going to be something difficult to deal with because you don't have any answer to the speed of those Raiju running around, and you got no heroes. Unless you build them, of course. So it might be a little bit risky there. But yeah, definitely versus Greek, probably versus Egyptian, and probably versus Norse are your best bets to try this strat out. Try it one town center. Let me know how it goes. If it doesn't work, that's fine. Try it 2 TC on the good maps and have some fun. And I'll see you guys in the next one.